Today we're looking at the saddest Batman story that I've ever read. This story includes sex, drugs, and violence. I'm sorry to introduce you to Realworlds Batman. Before we get into the story, let me introduce this world's Batman. Meet Charlie Duffy. He's a 27-year-old mentally handicapped man who works at a convenience store in New York City. This world isn't the usual DC universe either. This is supposed to be our real world. But it's more like if our real world was the world from the 1995 film Kids. Anyways, let's get started. The story starts out in the Batcave, or Charlie's messy apartment, with Charlie leaving in his batsuit until his caregiver, Mike, tells him not to wear it out. In this story, Mike is basically his version of Alfred. This also takes place in what appears to be 1989, about a couple days before the Tim Burton's Batman movie comes out. So throughout the story, Charlie's counting down the days to go watch that. Let's continue. Charlie then goes to work, delivering groceries around the neighborhood, stopping to talk to some kids who are rude to him. He then delivers to this old cat lady who is his version of Catwoman. Charlie then gets attacked by some assholes, only to be saved by the shop owner he works for. He goes back to stocking shelves until he sees a sexy redhead. He starts following her around until he realizes it's his childhood friend Clarissa. In this world, she is his Robin. When they were kids, they roleplayed as such. He continues to follow until he sees her steal something. She spots him, tells him off, then leaves. Later on, he talks to Mike about seeing Clarissa, and we see this absolutely heartbreaking flashback of child Charlie asking Clarissa to come out and play Batman and Robin. But we see in the background that her and her parents are moving out. She says that they're too old to still be playing these games. He can't comprehend what he is hearing, telling her that he'll see her later as she says goodbye with tears going down her face. We see him crying in the present, remembering this. Days pass until he sees her again at the convenience store, where he follows her. She goes to the park where she meets this shady drug dealer. He starts to come on to her until Charlie sees, and then he thinks that guy is the Joker. He takes off his shirt, revealing a Batman shirt underneath. The dealer then knocks Charlie to the ground and flips out a knife. Clarissa says he's not worth it and that he's just some retard. So she and him leave. Charlie screams for her not to go as people crowd around. The dealer takes Clarissa to a drug house and offers her a place there, but she decides to leave for a bit. She goes to see Charlie and they catch up. We see marks on her arm, presumably from needles. So Clarissa is a drug addict? She takes a shower and gets ready to leave, but first she pockets some jewelry. Charlie walks her out, but along the way Mike stops her and the jewelry falls out. He yells at her and she runs arguing with Charlie until they run into the dealer. He pulls out a knife and stabs Charlie in the arm. The dealer and Clarissa then leave him there, bleeding. Charlie goes to the hospital and recovers. Days later, it's time. Charlie and Mike go to the theater to watch Batman. It's entirely different and new to Charlie. This Batman is darker and meaner, and that's when he gets the idea. He's gotta be a mean Batman. All while this is happening, we see Clarissa getting abused in the drug house. So she decides to steal their drugs while they're sleeping. She then runs off to Charlie's apartment. She forgets a photo of Charlie and her as children there, so the dealers are able to find out where she went. They show up to the apartment. Mike, with a baseball bat, fights, but he loses to the thugs. So Clarissa throws all the drugs over the staircase. Enraged, they start to beat her until Charlie, in a new batsuit, appears and then immediately trips. The main dealer starts beating him until Clarissa fucking bolts out of the building. They catch her and start beating her in the street until Charlie catches up. Armed with Mike's baseball bat, Charlie hits the dealer right in the face with the bat. Bam! But then his goons come in and start kicking the shit out of Charlie. The entire neighborhood is watching until they all join in. The guy smashes a pot on one of the thugs' heads. An old man uses his cane against another. Some skateboard kids ride in and fuck with another one. Paramedics arrive and take Charlie to the hospital. Mike has a word with Clarissa about how she needs to turn her life around because Charlie just risked his life to save hers. 10 days later, we see a cleaned up Clarissa come back to the apartment. She talks to Mike about how she's going away to find help. Now Charlie would be better off forgetting her. She gives back the picture and leaves. Charlie comes out asking Mike who he's talking to, and Mike says he's talking to himself. Charlie then goes off to work singing the Batman theme. The end. Now, this story is fucking rough. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching and cheers.